Watching The Circle this Wednesday morning, our next guest, Matina Jewell, joined the Australian Army and became a really good, trusted soldier. So good that she was sent to the Middle East as a peacekeeper during the 2006 Israel-Lebanon conflict, where she was seriously wounded. Please welcome retired Major Matina Jewell. Matina, first of all, great book. It's a really good read. Tell us what it was like to be a peacekeeper. What was your role?
Well, peacekeeping roles are varied from country to country or mission to mission. Yeah. And my role there with the United Nations in the Middle East, we were observing a peace agreement between these various countries, between Israel, Lebanon and Syria. And so our role was actually go and patrol the regions and report any violations of those peace agreements.
And to prepare, you had to spend 3 months learning Arabic.
Yes, it was one of the options that I took up to learn to speak Arabic before I deployed.
Yeah.
I thought that would at least give me... this was my second mission in the Middle East, and my first mission I found that not having that skill sort of made me a disadvantage on the ground. So I thought to try and balance the playing field a little bit, being a woman and working in these remote regions, that if I at least showed the communities I was working in that I'd taken the time and the effort to learn their language.
It might sort of... No matter when you travel overseas, if you learn the local language, people appreciate it so much. When you're a peacekeeper, are you appreciated by the locals, or is there a huge mixture of emotions as to why you're there as a peacekeeper?
Certainly my experience in Syria and in Lebanon, the guys on the ground, the locals really loved having us there. And the UN, I guess the best part of my job was actually also the humanitarian aid missions and actually going in and speaking with the mayors and the muqtars. The muqtars are the religious leaders of each of these villages, and really seeing that what we were doing on the ground was actually making a huge difference to the lives of the everyday people in these sort of remote communities.
It is still a war zone, though. I imagine it would be very frightening to be there. Was it scary?
Well, up until, I mean, it was dangerous every day, but up until the 12th of July, which is when the war started between Israel and the Hezbollah, which is a guerrilla force operating in southern Lebanon, things changed dramatically on the ground. Like, you know, within an instant, it went from being a, you know, relatively what's considered a normal day in southern Lebanon, which is very different to Australia, but a normal day to thrusted into the middle of a war zone. And, you know, suddenly there were bombs exploding around us, missiles, fighter jets, attack helicopters, tanks, artillery, Katyusha rockets, you name it. It was actually coming around us.
Were you more vulnerable as a woman in this situation?
No, I don't think gender had anything to do with it. Where I was actually on a patrol base, we were lucky that all of us got back to our patrol base before rockets started impacting around our area. So we were fortunate to get back there. But you know, we were just very vulnerable because we're surrounded by Hezbollah at war with the Israeli Defence Force. And so, you know, there was so much shrapnel coming into our position and so many near misses. There was, you know, in that first week of the war, there was just so many times that I should have died, and these near misses that, you know...
Well, speaking of near misses, you were actually filming yourself when your vehicle was struck by another and you wound up in hospital. I just want to show our viewers the moment of impact is a little bit... there's no big loud crash, but you can tell that you're wounded. Have a look at this. So what happened then?
So I was on the phone to my headquarters and I didn't foresee that we were taking some evasive action to manoeuvre around that vehicle, and I was thrown into the bulletproof windscreen of my armoured vehicle, which is designed to stop bullets. So, you know, I came off second best, and I actually fractured 5 vertebrae and a number of other injuries in that accident. But at the time that we were coming into the headquarters area, into the town of Tyre, Israel had commenced their invasion into southern Lebanon, and there was actually aerial bombardment of that region. So I had bigger issues as the commander of that convoy to worry about than my own injury, or sort of just to get us rolling again and get us into the headquarters as quickly as I possibly could.
So you go, with the injury, you go straight into work mode anyway?
I think, well, I knew I was in a lot of pain, but yeah, I think adrenaline sort of kicks in, and you're so determined. I mean, at that stage, I had 16 lives to worry about as the commander of that convoy, and I think, you know, I was just so determined to do the best job I could to find a road and get us into the headquarters as quick as I could.
Wow. Matina, what, in retirement, which seems bizarre to say retirement to such a lovely young woman, where does that lead you now with the military and what you're doing?
Well, so I've been discharged from the army. Unfortunately, the injuries I sustained ceased my role in the military. So 2 years I was officially retired, which I keep telling my husband, you know, it says in black and white.
I'm retired.
You're going to have to look after that washing, honey, because I'm retired.
Paradise.
But so I've now been serving on a federal commission for the Anzac Centenary, which has been a brilliant opportunity, a real privilege to serve with 2 of our former Prime Ministers, Bob Hawke and Malcolm Fraser, and 3 other commissioners. And we've been advising government on how we should commemorate 100 years since World War I, which will be from 2014 to 2018. So
Fantastic.
that's been a great honour, and I'm just, you know, really, I'm doing speaking engagements and I've written a book, and I'm hoping that from sharing my story that there'll be a catalyst for positive change. I think there's some lessons that can be learnt and some inspiration that that people hopefully will find if there's suffering, setbacks in their own life, that you know, you can turn your life around, and sometimes out of adversity can come amazing opportunities.
Yeah. You're well very inspiring.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Matina.
Thanks for having me.
Please thank you. And our lucky studio audience gets even more of the story as you are all taking home a copy of Matina's book, Caught in the Crossfire. It's a really good read, and you're a really inspiring, articulate woman, so thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, movies with Mark Fennell, and in the meantime, here's another offer from The Circle and Nikki.
Would you